Yo, what's going on, people? It's the Suave Kid. Welcome to the Thoughts of an Abstract Mind podcast, where we discuss various red and blue pill content, see how the people feel about it. So today, I just want to talk about the Chinese domination of Africa. The Chinese domination of Africa. Let me explain. So recently, obviously, I'm of Ghanaian and Nigerian descent. I currently live in the UK. I'm always in and out, love home, love the motherland, love the fatherland. And as the years have gone by, if you're anyone that's familiar with Africa, you'll be aware of the strong presence of the Chinese in Africa at the moment, in all walks of life. Strongly on the industry, though. Very strongly on the industry. And in some cases, they're taking over huge expanses of industries. And it just goes to show it's like, when will Africa ever learn? You see? When will we ever learn? Or should I say, let me correct that actually. When will we ever get it right? Why do I say that? How can China, who was pretty much in certain aspects, China was in the same boat post-colonialism as Africa was. Because parts of China was, I believe, was it a British colony? One of them. So how can they start from the same start point as us, get their shit right, and now come back and dominate us? Clearly, we're not helping ourselves as Africans. And it's so easy for China to come and take over, because what do? They'll come with cheap loans, offer it to the elites in the government, etc. The few take it, better themselves with it. Wealth never trickles down. And then what do they trade in return? National resources. So for the few to enjoy, national resources that should be for everyone gets traded. You know how those Chinese loans go. You'll never be able to pay it back. And the interest is always climbing. So in some instances, they're taking vast swathes of land as payment back. Or they're taking vast government projects, which are not in the best interest of the people, the way it's structured. But if you owe them millions and billions in debt, what choice do you have? And it just goes to show, just generally, Africans across the world, we at some point need to address this African issue. How do we fix our systems? And it's deeper than just surface level talking about it. There's deep-rooted causes. Most of it boils down to colonialism and slavery and the brain drain and etc. Come on, look at India. Another example. Same start point. They were colonized as well. They have way more population to deal with than most African countries. But they still have it right. India is one of the biggest economies in the world right now. So sometimes I feel like it's not necessarily what happened to you, is your mentality. Your mentality after is what makes the difference. Why do I say that? We all know, it's no secret. We all know there's a lot of corruption in most African countries. We all know this. Whether it's by choice, whether it's by design. There's instances where people even come into power, political leaders come into power, and their family are angry at them if they refuse to be corrupt, because everyone else is doing it. So you're telling me you went into politics and became this powerful person and we can't reap the benefits. So you see what I'm saying? It's the mentality. And the mentality is something we need to start addressing, and we need to start changing. Luckily, the new generation coming up, a lot of them are exposed to the internet. So a lot of them are exposed to contemporary education other than the post-colonial education that was left with us. I'm going to go deep into that subject at some point soon anyways, because that's a big part of it, that colonial education that was left with us. So thanks to things like the internet, a lot of the kids coming up now can access real information in real time and really understand the impacts of every decision that they make, especially the ones who end up eventually going into politics and being the pen pushers eventually. They get a real understanding of the bigger picture and why it's important for us to wash that old mentality of just me, myself, and I. And that's predominantly the black man's problem. It's not even an African thing. So it's predominantly the black man's problem. It's just me, myself, and I. Because you're plugged into a system and you look how deep-rooted the issues are, and you just feel, well, I can only solve my situation, and that's it, you know? But this is why it always seems like Africans are lacking behind. You come to Western land, you come to Western cultures, and you see, oh no, these people are not actually any more cleverer or intelligent than us. They just have a system and it works. You see, people just generally put the society before themselves. Again, another topic I'm going to delve deep into. Keep tuned on this channel. We're going to go through a few things here, you know. We're going to break some things down on here, you know. So it's the mentality. It's the mentality. We have to address the mentality. And I feel like some of us in the diaspora that have gone abroad and see how things work and experienced how systems are put in place that benefit the greater society, it's down to us to also go back and do what? Change some things a bit. You know what I mean? One of my long-term goals, in fact, later on in life is to enter politics and see what I can twist and turn. I mean, it can't be a one-man job. It's not for one single person to fix everything, you know, but each one teach one. We can each contribute our little impact to society, especially considering that we've experienced other cultures and we've seen the things that need to be put in place to change the system and this, that. You know what I mean? The first thing we probably have to address is the monopolization of our raw materials. And that's not just a one country thing, it's across the board in the whole of Africa. Again, another topic we need to break down, because these are big issues I'm trying to condense into a short little segment, you know. But this Chinese domination in Africa, whether good or bad, it doesn't seem like it's going to end anytime soon, because we're so deeply plugged in loans with them. And they've probably seen how easy it is to pretty much manipulate Africans. But to be honest, I like the Chinese. Why do I say I like the Chinese? The Chinese on like Western colonization, because to be in my complex mind, in my abstract mind, it's still a form of colonization what they're doing. But at least the Chinese will bring things. They bring resources. They bring options. I mean, most Africans now can afford a phone. Why? Because China would take the iPhone and mimic it and create it so cheaply that your average African can afford an iPhone thing. You see what I'm saying? So they come with their benefits. You know what I mean? So I like the Chinese. You know what I mean? I have a few Chinese mates that we have a laugh, etc., etc. But ultimately, what does the Chinaman worry about? The Chinaman worries about the Chinaman. It's every race's responsibility to ensure their long-term survival. Whereas the Africans, you know, responsibility of our long-term survival. We look at the global state and where wars are going and things are happening. We don't even have an atomic weapon to defend ourselves in an age of vast atomic weapons. We don't even, oh God, you know what? We're going to break down some issues on this channel. But anyways, guys, if you like what I do, don't forget to comment and like and share. Appreciate you guys for tuning in. Love.